Hello everybody, welcome back to another Dark and Darker video. Today we are going to be talking about how Bard got nerfed into oblivion. So they have required that you need knowledge now and spell capacity to put songs on. And you start off with 14 spell capacity to put these songs on, and quite a few of them cost about 4 each. There are a couple that cost 1. And really where this leaves you is just with 1 roll of songs unless you're super kitted. Like with Wizard. Except the thing is with Bard is all of his other options, other than more songs, they're just absolutely terrible. I have the one on here that turns off everyone else being able to cast spells for 3 seconds. But you literally have a song that can do that normally if you have 2 song wheels on. And then the other one, it just plays the song for you after you've already played a successful song. And that one is just detrimental. You are better off without it because it does not allow you to cancel any of the notes. So it's not like it even plays it as quickly as it possibly can or anything like that. No, it's just a waste of time. And I thought when I put that one on that it would just instantly cast the next song. So I was like, oh, that might be decent. No, it's just horrible. It's an absolute waste of a slot. It's more than a waste of a slot. It is only detrimental to you. So basically, you just lost your queue ability now. There's just nothing there. You lost 5 songs, and Bard is significantly worse now. This also means that there's really no room for kitting for weapon damage anymore, like there was before with Bard. If you want to run a Bard, you have to kit for knowledge. That way you can actually go ahead and put the songs on, and you can play the game. So instead of that, though, we're just kind of stuck here with 1 wheel of songs, and they're really bad. And honestly, with this many songs, I would get rid of the one I have on that I play with the lyre, the Ballad of Courage, or however you say that one. The extra physical power is very weak now, and it's saying 5 physical power, although it used to be 10 if I remember correctly. 5 is a big difference from 10. I also have Shriek of Weakness on here, but really what I would want to swap for is I would really like Piercing Shrill. And then I also don't have like Aria of Alacrity or anything like that, you know, the one that gives you extra move speed. And I don't have the one that gives me extra action speed. And so that's really annoying. And then also, they have increased the play timer for crypts, and there is 1 more circle to go through, but the circle moves in really quick because it doesn't have much distance between, and I think they changed how the circle functions. So keep that in mind. You can't just like slowly move in with the circle anymore as it moves. You need to get to the next zone before the next circle timer. And right here, I'm just kind of trying to run past everything because I don't want to be in the zone, and I just want to get away from here. And right there, I get shot by the skeleton. Okay, this room's kind of nice for Bard. You can actually do a jump up here, and you can get 2 chests up top. They can be lion's head chests, they can be golden chests. Golden chests would be ideal. Now, Bard does still have his luck perk, which is very, very good. That is very good for farming items, and it can really help to make a lot of money. So I'll probably still keep trying to play Bard and see if I can find a meta so that I can keep farming money with him. But he is just not nearly as good as he was before. And once again, Bard is put together to be played in a 3-man group or a 2-man group. He is made to be a support character. So playing him solo, of course, he's going to feel very weak. You know what he didn't feel like before? He didn't feel very weak playing him as a solo. He felt very normal, and that's without even getting all of the use out of his kit. And a lot of people seem to think that Bard was good before after they changed his healing and his song regen one. He was absolutely not good before. He was absolutely OP. And I think the reason why they had him in that spot was just so they could test more of his songs at once and see if anyone comes up with any super good use methods. I open up that lion's head chest there and it's pretty trash. Also, they added a whole bunch of extra stats to a bunch of items. So right there, if I remember correctly, this leather bonnet has 1 resourcefulness on it now. Just like how you have the shadow mask with the +1 all attributes on it before. A whole bunch of items now have different stats on them that are in the white lines. They aren't in the blue lines. And that's actually a pretty big buff to these items. A lot of the robes have knowledge or will on them, which makes them a lot more usable. And it gives you a lot more options, which is really good. Another point here I wanted to get into, though. They have added so many items to the traders, and the traders now sell purples even for 200 gold, and it isn't always going to be the purple you want, but sometimes it will be. And they can have good rolls. Oftentimes they won't, just like items you find in the lobby or in the game here. They just oftentimes won't have good rolls, but sometimes they will, and you can get really good items out of the shop. This has really harmed trading from where it was before. Trading was pretty much a necessity. Now it's not even close to a necessity, and so much gold is being removed from the game that farming gear to sell to people, like I have been doing for a while with these Inferno runs, is not nearly as good anymore. I think Goblin Caves might actually be better now. And right here in this run, I'm trying to run past these two skeletons and open up that door, but then I'm like, oh, that's actually not a good idea. And you might be wondering, what's the deal here? I haven't seen this map before. They changed the maps. There are new maps now. And basically what they did is they took old blocks that they had before and they've just changed them up. They've also done this with Goblin Caves, and they have interspliced in the high roller Goblin Caves pieces. And right here I find a free body, and I'm just making certain that there's no players on me or anything. It looks like he died to the Wraith. Or he might have died to a player or something and then ran away, but I think it's the top death there in the death feed, the True Beeg, or whatever his name is. And he just led this Wraith in here. And I'm just going to try and get away from this Wraith because they have removed the little trick where you can duck and then put your head down so that they couldn't hit you. That is not a thing anymore. And I still think Song of Shadow is good, especially for solos. It is just an invis pot, and especially for groups, Song of Shadow is definitely still good because you can have, say, a fireball charged up or a multi-shot charged up and just ready to go while invisible, or you can be invisible while resting, all sorts of other huge benefits. And people seem to think it is just an invis pot, and it is absolutely not for your teammates. It is very vital. It is a insanely good song that people are not using well enough yet. Okay, this is one of my favorite hiding spots if you're just trying to get away from people, is you put a torch on there, you grab it, and you run in here. And then it closes the door behind you really quickly, and you get 2 big chests for free here. And I got a Mimic on this one, which is annoying. So I'm just going to go ahead and kill that real quick. Just a couple stabs. And you might be wondering, how are you supposed to get out of here? There is a lever in the corner there. It is in the darkness. And yeah, you can get out of here whenever you feel like it. But until then, you're pretty good in this corner. And whenever people are going through the maze, oftentimes they aren't as experienced players. The more experienced players try to avoid the maze, it seems, because there isn't as much skill expression in the maze. There's not as much room to move around. And this means that you're pretty safe in this area. Now, I had thrown my torch underneath this Mimic here, and there's absolutely no way for me to get it, so that torch is gone. And there's that lever. I'm letting myself out. Yeah, and also, Bard, they changed him in this way so that he would feel worse at lower gear. He was really good at low gear before, and now he's supposed to only be good on high gear. And I found a body here in the zone. I'm just like, ooh, juicy. Let's get some loot here. Free. That's my favorite whenever I find a body like this. And so I'm going to go ahead and loot this. But yeah, Bard feels really awful now without gear. It's kind of like how Wizard was before, level of awful. And I'm over here in this room, and there's just so many archers in here that it is incredibly difficult to dodge, and I kind of ducked into that last one. And on top of that, the game's rubber banding, which isn't cool. I get shot there in the leg. I kind of wanted to hit this health shrine up, but the zone's going to move in quickly here. And I'm doing Song of Shadows so that these enemies lose aggro. I really only need to do this for like 1 or 2 seconds to get them off of me, but I'm also listening for other players. And I kind of wanted to get that health shrine, but I'm not going to be able to. I don't even have enough health to get to it anymore. So I'm just going to drink a health pot and get out of here. I need to get into the zone. We got another archer skeleton. Not a good time for me here. Also, they have increased the mob density on crypts incredibly so. There are a lot more mobs on crypts. It seems like if a room had 2 before, it would have 3 now. And this makes things a heck of a lot harder, especially because we just don't know the maps right now. Right here, I find a golden chest for free, which is great. Someone already cleared the room for me, and they weren't able to open up the golden chest, so it's mine now. I go ahead and open it. Plus 11 armor rating heavy leather leggings. Heavy leather actually has good armor rating now, by the way. And that hound skull had plus armor rating on it as well. That is incredibly good. I actually ended up selling that for 300 gold. And this is like super early wipe, by the way. 300 gold for an item means you found a god tier item, and that's because people want that for a physical damage reduction setup. And I'm just going to jump over this section over here because I want to go to those down portals. I had actually crouched at a cleric earlier, and he was fine with me, and that's the cleric who's up above. I'm opening up this portal right here, just in case I need to leave, in case he shows some aggression towards me, but I really want that health shrine up there. Looks like he's taken it already, sadly. I'm going to just crouch, because I don't particularly want to fight this guy. He's not going to have anything for me. And I am going to go down to the Inferno. And you might be thinking, oh no, your health's too low to go to Inferno. Who cares? It's PvE down there. I'm just going to heal up with Tranquility real quick in between. And I still have some health pots. And now we are down. Now, Inferno is a lot easier with a ranged item. But you do get basically all of your health back here as Bard, because you do retain 65% of your health every time you get hit with that little red bar now, and you can Tranquility that back up in the lobby before. And then when you go into the next map, it gives you a certain amount of health back as well in that little transparent red bar, which you can heal up fairly quickly. You can use all throwing items on Bard, so I would highly recommend you pick them up because it is incredibly useful for dragging enemies. And right here, I just want to weaken all of these enemies, and I really want to kill this zombie because they get super annoying with their poison, but the demon dog is coming behind it, and that is a major problem. We're going to kill this guy, and then I can just stab this guy through the door real nice and easy. Also, I do want to say the Skeleton Guardian, the one that has the armor on that drops the golden key, those are way harder to cheese now because they reflexively attack you after you hit them a couple times, even if they can't reach you. And because they have so many swing animations, there are a lot of cheese spots that makes very difficult to hit them with, and makes them more akin to cheesing a centaur, which was already quite difficult to cheese beforehand. And basically means, you know, if you're like up on a railing or something, you're going to have to jump every time they attack. It super slows you down. I still think they're worth killing, but keep that in mind if you pull a Skeleton Guardian. Now I'm going to try and drag this Hellhound over here. And I missed both. That second one just barely. I'm not particularly good at throwing axes because I've never played Barbarian. And I'm fairly new to Bard. And then I'm going to weaken these guys, and they will still deal more damage to themselves if you hit them with the Shriek of Weakness, which is really good. Because with these mages here, you basically have to have them end themselves because I don't have a bow here, and I don't really have any way to get close to it to attack it. So just have it kill itself with its fireball. And these guys can drop pretty good loot, actually. They can drop cloaks and stuff, but what it drops for me here is this little Oracle robe with half-decent rolls. I ended up selling that for 50 gold, if I remember correctly, which honestly is barely worth even dropping all this treasure for. Because what I'm actually getting is 35 gold, so what was the point of picking that up? Pretty much nothing. And you can cheese the demon dogs here on these barrels. They will eventually break the barrels, but it's fairly easy to cheese them here. And you don't have to run left and right. And people kept telling me in the comments, okay, you can go left and right to dodge them. No, you can only do that if your speed is over a certain amount. If you are a slower character like Cleric, just going left and right does not work. You need to be a certain distance back before doing that. Just left and right is not good enough. And those comments are probably coming from people playing like Rogue, or maybe they were playing Bard with the speed song on. And so they would go significantly faster and have a much easier time dodging enemies. There's a whole bunch of dodging patterns that just don't work on slower characters. And we're going to loot all of these demon skulls here, the zombie, all that jazz. And I would really like to get up top now and loot the 2 lion's head chests up there, which means I have to go through the archers. And those platforms are just horrible for dodging the archers over there. I get a Mimic here. They are a little bit faster in the Inferno. Keep in mind, these are elite Mimics. That's why they have, like, redder insides. So they're just a tad faster, but it's still a Mimic. It's still super easy. Just gonna stab this thing. Padded leggings are good, but I already have fairly good stuff on, and my inventory is fairly full, so it's not that good. I'm gonna buff myself up here and try and kill this thing. I tried to hit it with Shriek of Weakness, but I just don't have the range here. I know that one's crappy. I'd play it back a couple times, it seems, because you have to hit the gold ones if you're skipping the first note on that, and it still doesn't reach. And I accidentally end up aggroing the one up top as well there when I really just want to be fighting this one down below. And he shoots me in the head. Just really fun time. There's not really any area here for me to be dodging, and I am on literally 1 HP at this point. And I could block them with my buckler, but honestly, arrows will just go straight through bucklers sometimes. Bucklers are horrible. And right here, I'm going to play Tranquility before I set down this campfire. And that does actually end up helping me a little bit. If it stayed on a little bit longer, it would help a lot more, but it does not. And I just need to get as much health back here as possible. And then I'm going to keep going for it, because if I get up top still, then I can get that health shrine. And right there, I give myself a buff again, and I want to keep pushing towards this guy. This time, I definitely want to hit them with the Shriek of Weakness, though. That makes a huge difference on time to kill. And he just smacks me in the arm there, and this time he's not smacking me in the head, at least, so that makes a pretty big difference. I'm going to play it back so we can get this guy as well. And now I can pretty much just tank this guy if I want to, because I have the health shrine right there. These guys do seem to aim for the head because I hit headshots really often, but I'm just going to heal up on this health shrine, no biggie. We can open up this lion's head chest. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, okay, if you open this up with the Unchained Harmony, you don't actually get the boost from the luck perk. That does not seem correct to me. I can't say for certain that it's incorrect, but it doesn't seem correct. And right here, I should be swapping out my buckler for this lantern, because lanterns give you a huge move speed bonus now. It's like 6 move speed, even for a basic one. And that is huge over something like a buckler that gives you -7 move speed. There's no reason for me to be using this buckler here. I'm not using it to actually shield anything. It's just a little bit extra armor rating. I would much rather the extra move speed. Also, it's not going to sell for anything. And right there, I'm going to take these bolts because I'm planning to buy a crossbow the next match, and I'm just going to toss the least valuable items, grab the bolts, which are 1 gold each if I try and buy them in the shop, and because I'm going to use those the next game, I definitely want that. And I'm just scooping up whatever extra loot I can, and I am not getting good loot items from this. Like, it's pretty awful here. And with players trading less in the player trading for these good items, the good gear items, I don't know if Inferno runs are even worth doing anymore, because you can get items of similar quality from the shops. And so what need is there for these items from Inferno? What need are you fulfilling? And they can just go ahead and take their gold to the shops, and there's less gold in circulation now because players are giving all that gold to the traders, so that gold is getting deleted from the game. I think it's definitely still worthwhile to do the high roller Inferno runs if you can do those consistently, but those have never been consistent for me solo because there's just so many players that will run you down, but we'll have to see how that goes. I'm killing this Mimic here and looting this other reinforced chest, and I'm just not getting anything good out of here. This is not particularly good. Nothing here has been particularly great. And it makes me wonder if they actually nerfed the loot here in the Inferno. I'm not certain that they did, but it sure seems like it. And I get out. And now that was a good run still, though, because I had that gold chest earlier where I got that Hound Skull out, which was great. And I got all that treasure off that dead body. But I got basically all of the loot in the crypts. I didn't get much of anything out of the Inferno. And you got to keep in mind opportunity cost. Why wouldn't I just run Goblin Caves at this point where I can get out in 5 minutes and go ahead and buy the items with the good gear rolls? Because these runs take 20 minutes because Crypts is longer now. Inferno's the same amount of time. And I earned, what, 200 gold? That's not all that good. In a 5-minute Goblin Caves run, I can definitely earn 100 gold. So we'll have to see how this goes in the future. I'm going to keep testing Inferno, keep testing Goblin Caves, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. And if you guys liked this video, make certain to subscribe for more. We'd really like to hit 1,000 subscribers. We'd really appreciate it if you guys would help me out with that.